MP's office. She's one of the Durham MPs. So this is a statement that the police released today. Earlier this year, Durham Constabulary carried out an assessment of whether COVID-19 regulations had been breached and we made a genuine mistake. Okay, that's fine. Keir Starmer was in there too, drinking beer. They were eating curry delivered from a local Indian restaurant. He says they were having a break from working, and then they carried on working after the curry had been consumed and the beer had been drunk. The video of them taken through the window of them drinking the beer and eating the curry was at 10 p.m. on a Friday. So the question is, do you believe they then carried on working? Were they working at all? This is what Keir Starmer had to say when he was questioned about this earlier.
Well, as I've explained a number of times, we were working in the office, we stopped for something to eat. No party, no breach of the rules. The police obviously have got their job to do. We should let them get on with it. But I'm confident that no rules were broken. Meanwhile, we've had a really good set of results today.
What is the difference between what you did and what Boris Johnson did when he had the event he's been fined for already, the birthday party?
Well, I was working, I stopped for something to eat. No party, no breach of the rules. Obviously, I understand the police need to do their job, need to let them get on with that. But I'm confident there was no breach of the rules. As I say, I've actually been with our teams today celebrating the very great successes we've had in the local elections.
But the Prime Minister was working and stopped for something to eat. What is the difference?
I can't answer for the Prime Minister. I can simply say I was working, I stopped for something to eat, no breach of the rules, no party. I'm confident about that. Obviously, I understand the police need to do their job. I'll let them get on with that, of course. Meanwhile, as I say, we actually had some very good results today. Thank you so much.
That was the Labour leader, Keir Starmer, and the question will be, of course, if he's fined, bearing in mind, don't know if he'll be fined, of course we don't, that's up to the Durham Constabulary. He has made it, he was calling from January for the Prime Minister to resign. Now don't forget, there is a difference here. The Prime Minister said there were, in the Commons, there were no parties. Well, there were 14. Now, he might not have known about all of them because some of them took place when he wasn't there, but he is, we understand, is under investigation over 4 events which he attended. Now, he'll carry on saying till he's blue in the face, I didn't know they were parties. But the Labour leader said absolutely clearly, the moment he was under investigation, January the 12th, 2022, the party's over for Boris Johnson, resign. 2 weeks later, this has done immense damage to public trust. He must go. He said the same about Rishi Sunak. Now, Rishi Sunak, of course, the Chancellor, went into the event where Boris Johnson was signed. It was where his wife had arranged a birthday cake for him. It was in the cabinet room. Rishi Sunak was going in there to have a meeting with Boris Johnson, knew nothing about the fact it was a party and had a Diet Coke. He got fined. The Labour leader didn't spare him either. He said Rishi Sunak had to resign too. I'm asking, what do you think about this? Is it as serious? Does it matter? The police are going to do their job. They'll do a full investigation. Let's hope it doesn't take as long as the Metropolitan Police investigation into what went on in Downing Street. So far, we think around 50 people, although 50 fines have been issued. We know that the Prime Minister's had one, we know the Chancellor's had one, and we know the former head of ethics at number 10, she's not there now, had one too. Bizarrely, the head of ethics, who was on the karaoke machine singing. So I'm asking you about that. Continue to take your calls to of the elections. You heard what Ben Page said from Ipsos Mori. He said, on this basis, the performance of Labour so far, it doesn't look like Keir Starmer is going to be able, well, he said there's no chance currently that Labour will be able to form a government with an overall majority. He thinks probably the Tories will be the largest party. They might be an even bigger party, of course, if they ditched Boris Johnson. Should they? Should Labour also ditch Keir Starmer? As Ben Page said, not me, he's no Tony Blair. Tony Blair, at this stage in the electoral process, I think the Tories lost 1,200 seats in Blair's second year as opposition leader. This is Keir Starmer's second year as opposition leader, and they've gained the Tories have lost 300 seats. What do you think? 0345 6060 973. Mohammed's calling from Loughton. Hello.
Oh, good evening, Andrew. It's a good way to to conservative the loss to attack the Keir Starmer today, because to cover the loss, I think that's the only way. Keir Starmer is not the one who made the rules.
Yeah, but the rules are for everyone to follow, Mohammed.
That's right. But the ruler should be punished, not any citizen. You should treat the Keir Starmer as any citizen because he's not the rule maker.
Yeah, well, hang on, Mohammed. Lots of people have been fined. Lots of people have been fined for breaking the rules. So if he's going to be treated like any citizen, if he's broken the rules, he has to be either given. The police either make a statement or they fine him.
Well, okay, but you're not asking to fine him. You're asking him to resign. Because
No, Mohammed. I'm asking the question. If he's fined, should he resign?
It's been my first call because your first guest, I think it was around 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
You were asking him why you shouldn't resign, and
yeah.
you played many clips for Keir Starmer that he should resign, and you're asking him.
Why shouldn't I ask the question, Mohammed? Because Keir Starmer, every Prime Minister's Question Time ad nauseum since January has raised. To the point where even one of his own shadow cabinet ministers has...
2 points I'm going to tell you. The Keir Starmer is not the rule maker. That's one.
Okay.
Second one... Okay, let me just...
Yeah, I hear you.
And the second one is Keir Starmer has done one mistake. Your Prime Minister has done 17 mistakes.
Right.
Compare
Okay.
this up to...
Well, so far... Hang on, Mohammed. So far, the Prime Minister has been fined once. Where do you get 17 from?
No, the 12 is exactly on the newspaper. And
He's been fined once, Mohammed. He may be fined more often. He may be fined 3 or 4 times, 5 or 6 times. In which case you'd be right. But currently, he's been fined once. You keep saying Boris Johnson made the rules. The leader of the opposition has a duty to follow them.
Okay, the leader is exactly the same as any citizen.
Yes, they have. We all have to follow them. And he keeps banging on about that, doesn't he, Mohammed?
Okay, that's right. But what's my point is...
Yeah, I'm struggling to find what your point is.
Okay, my point is the policeman, he just went and then arrested someone for the drink driving. And then an hour later, a police driving, the policeman is himself. He was on a drink driving.
Adam, you're losing... Well, what are we talking about drink driving for? We're talking about whether the leader of the opposition broke the lockdown rules.
The police who made the rules is arresting someone...
No, the police didn't make the rules. Mohammed, you're all over the place, mate. You just said Boris Johnson's the rule maker. He is. The police didn't make the rules. Their job is to enforce them.
It doesn't matter. Mohammed made
it does matter.
And Mohammed made the rules. Okay, he has to be punished, but not my neighbours, which is just done any mistake.
All right, Mohammed, we're going way off the point, I'm afraid. But thank you so much for your call. Let's not get into drink driving. Nobody's accusing anybody of drink driving. David's in Sheffield. David, what do you make of all this?
Well, I mean, just in terms of Starmer, I just talked about him initially.
Yeah.
If he keeps saying it was a work meeting, etc., I'd love to know how many employers allow people to drink alcohol at work.
Well, certainly not.
You would be sacked.
Yeah, not mine.
You'd be suspended. You would be sent home. So that shoots down his idea that it was a work meeting, unless his employers, I assume the Labour Party, I don't know who his employers are. I
suppose he's the boss, though, David. I suppose you could argue he makes the rules.
Yeah. He makes the rules, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. So, do you know what I mean? It doesn't strike me that it was
all right, John,
a work meeting. And if it was, then obviously they look at his morality, allowing people to drink while at work.
That must be the feast. That must be a feast tonight.
In terms of forecasting the next election,
what do you think?
I'm afraid, no matter. I mean, I think Johnson should go. He's appalling. There's some great Tory MPs who do a much better job. Ian Duncan-Smith, David Davis, or even the guy from Shipley, who you may not even know about, but he's a great MP.
I do. That's he's married to Philip Davis. Yeah, I like Philip. He's married to Esther
McVeigh. Great bloke.
Yeah, I know very well.
The problem is, no matter how bad the Tories are, people won't vote for the other mob because we despair if we ever got a Labour government. You haven't got. I mean, I don't think all the people would have a clue what life would be like under a Labour government.
Well, David, they re-elected for Tony Blair not once, not twice, but 3 times.
No, I know, but they've seen what a Labour government will do. I mean, we're talking just going to net zero. If Labour government were in now, we'd have net zero in 2023.
You see?
They'd have, honestly, they would be so zealous about it. It would be just our lives would not be worth living.
I think they're in Mdina, actually.
In terms of Johnson and Starmer, I think we should both go, to be honest.
Very interesting. That's very interesting. David, thank you so much for that call. Wouldn't that be fascinating, actually, if the result of Partygate was not 1 but 2 resigned? Who would you want to replace Boris? Who would you want to replace Keir Starmer? Well, on cue, Jane says this. Hi, Andrew. Angela Rayner, for next leader of the Labour Party. She's a Lancashire lass that speaks from the heart and has lived a real life from childhood. She's very proud of she's very proud of the fact she's a former care worker. She had her first baby, I think when she was 16, out of wedlock. She's very proud of the way she's worked. She's a classic example of